all over in Dubai. I've seen in just passing by these pharmacies, creams to make the skin whiter. Right? I mean, that's a problem for me. Just the fact that that is being manufactured is a problem. But also the fact that people somehow feel that their skin needs to be whiter. You know, that somehow, and that has a lot to do, obviously, with racism and with, but I don't know, I mean, I have light skin, but if I was an Arab or an Indian or something like that, nobody on God's earth is going to get me to want whiter. I think we're getting right to that example. To me, the root of the problem is that I don't want to say we created, because much of it we've inherited, a society that has such distorted ma'ayir. You know, the criteria by which we use to judge things and to understand things is so grossly distorted. Do you know, pleasure, hedonism. I mean, I saw a billboard yesterday that said, you know, come to our city, and then it was huge. It was a mural that went on for quite some time. It showed a group of people talking, and it said socialize. And then the next one, it had eating at a restaurant, dine. And then the next one, it was at the beach, play. And then the next one was at the mall, shop. And that was it. And I was looking at that and thinking, is that the modern world? Is it just shop until you drop? Is it consume until you die? Is it, I mean, are these, you know, where's charity? Where's social services? Where's volunteerism? I mean, why are we as human beings allowing our culture to kind of disintegrate into this hedonistic, superficial, it's all about how I look, it's not about what's inside of me. I mean, to me, these are really egregious problems. One of the amazing things is that كما تفضلت يعني في أحسن تقويم. You know, في أحسن تقويم, the balance, the perfect, I mean, beauty is all about symmetry.
It's about symmetry.
And symmetry is one of the greatest signs of God in creation. You know, is this insijam al-khalq. It's something extraordinary. In fact, I saw a study that I thought was really brilliant. They did a study on beautiful faces from men and women, and they put in front of people thousands of faces, and they had them pick out which ones they thought were the best faces. And what they found was the most beautiful faces were the most average. For the average nose, the average eyes, the average mouth, the average structure, you know, in that bell curve. Right. They were the ones that were all right in the middle, which خير الأمور أوسطها, يعني, like the Prophet ﷺ said, which I thought was really interesting. But for me, for instance, I love big noses. I don't have a big nose. Maybe if I had one, I would have a different attitude. But I like big noses. I'm amazed at people that want to shrink their noses down. I'm amazed at black people that want to look like white people. I'm amazed at white people that are racist and yet go out and get a tan. You know, this is why al-qana'atu kanzun la yafna. How do we achieve qana'a? I really think women need to be freed of that idolatry of the other. You know, I think a woman has to do that herself. I really feel so much of this is just about balance. And I think that in more traditional societies, there was so much less emphasis on these aspects that the modern society is obsessed with. And I want to see, especially the young Arab girls and Muslim girls, I would like to see them just exploring so many other avenues of their lives that are much richer to me. There's an extraordinary hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He said that a woman was created from the rib, and he said that to me, the real meaning of that hadith, it's often used as a negative, do you know? Mm-hmm. But to me, the rib is there to protect the most vital organs of the human being, and particularly the heart. I mean, the rib cage is there to protect the heart. And the curvature of the rib, he talked about the i'wijaj of a woman. For me, it's that curvature that's designed to protect something. The woman really is there to protect the heart of society. You know, because I truly believe, and I'm not just saying this, I really believe that our humanity comes from our mothers. We don't get our humanity from our fathers. And if they're humane, they got it from their mother. You know, my humanity came from my mother, because my mother's an incredibly humane person. And she, shafaqa, you know, there's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that God said, you know, hadith Qudsi, inni shaqaqtu ar-rahm min ismi ar-Rahman, you know, that I derived the womb from, and that is what is unique about women. It's the womb. It's that hollow center of her being that is where this divine mercy comes into the world. You know, and when the Prophet ﷺ wanted to use an example of mercy, he used the example of a woman who was milking her child, and the Prophet ﷺ said, do you think this woman would throw her child into the fire? And they said, no, she would never do that. And he said, God is more merciful with his servants. So the example that he used for divine mercy was motherly mercy and compassion. And I really feel that women, you know, when they're divorced from, what's happened in the West is that women have often been forced to become like men in order to compete in this male-dominated world. And what I would like to see is that women, instead of seeing these as handicaps, as actually seeing these things as the essential elements. The most beautiful faces I've ever seen in the world are faces of people who have spent a lifetime in real serious worship. Beauty of the husna is in the al-ayn, it's in the eye, wal-jamalu fil-anf. But that idea of, you know, the jumla, the gatheredness of it, أَلَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ خَلَقَ, you know, وَهُوَ اللَّطِيفُ الْخَبِيرُ. God knows what he puts on people's faces. No perfect nose. And in the end, al-kamalu lillah. Perfection is God's, and we're always going to be imperfect. And people, one of the things about human beings, and Imam al-Ghazali said that, he said, أكبر دليل على نقص الإنسان is that he يحس بنقصه. You know, that he's always feels deficient.